Welcome to the Shark Scale. Now, today's episode is a bit of a unique one. It's the adventures of Sharkboy and Lavagirl. Yeah, Sharkboy and Lavagirl. I remember watching this one a bunch as a kid. Yeah, I have a lot of nostalgia with this one, but let's just take a look at it and see if it holds up still. Right there!
Sharkboy and Lavagirl cinematic universe.
Yeah, and it also has Spy Kids in it, and Machete.
So the plot of the movie involves this kid named Max. Max dreams a lot. Like, that's all he really does, it seems, is dream. And he writes all of them in a journal. His biggest dream and greatest creation is of two characters known as Sharkboy and Lavagirl. Almost superhero-like characters that come from the planet Drool, whatever they call it, and fight evil. Anyway, one day Max is in school and telling everyone about them when he gets bullied by another kid named Linus. Linus ruins his dream journal and makes fun of him. Well, the next day in class there's a big tornado, it seems, outside, but for some reason the kids go to school. But aside from that, basically Sharkboy and Lavagirl show up and tell Max that he's the only one that can save their world.
Not concerned that there's a fucking tornado outside of the school. No, send him to school. Send him to school. What is this, Kansas?
And then they need him to go with them, and so he does, and it's up to them to go save the world and go on some wacky adventures. I'm not going to knock the story. It's a kid's movie, and I can tell you, as a kid, I absolutely adored this story. I remember seeing it in theaters and just being amazed by it and loving it, and loving the characters, and even the antagonists are pretty good in the movie. So it's all pretty good. Does it hold up nowadays to an adult like me? Well, no, not really, but I still have fond memories with it. I'm sure there are a lot of plot holes that don't really make any sense, but again, this is a kid's movie, so I'm not going to look too into it and just say the plot is one of the stronger aspects of the movie, and the characters that are presented are actually pretty good, and at the very least I can say it's original. And even then, as an adult, I still had some enjoyment watching the story unravel and all the characters do their thing.
No. He's dead. We did it.
Not for real.
So next to bring up is the sharks in the movie. Now we have two types of sharks here. We have the sharks that are normal sharks that usually are in the Shark Scale movies, and then we have Sharkboy himself, and we're going to include both of them for this, and so I can confidently say that sharks are present in every scene thanks to Sharkboy. Yep, every single scene in some capacity, which is just perfect. For real though, Sharkboy is in like every scene, and all the stuff he does is pretty good. I mean, he's just a kid, but he's still pretty good here. In terms of the other sharks, they don't really do much in the movie, and they only show up at the beginning and the end, to be honest. These for 2005 didn't look actually that bad. They looked alright, and I could say that there are a couple movies I've seen recently that have come out probably in the last 5 years that look worse than this, which is really sad for those movies. The sharks, they looked fine, they animated fine. It was obviously very kid-friendly and generally cartoony and just kind of kiddie. I mean, I wouldn't expect anything like any kills or anything like that.
Hey, it's Sharkboy.
Oh my god.
I'm out.
He's a friend.
I'm gonna continue to watch it, but I'm no longer taking this seriously.
The sharks do attack somebody at one point, which is a nice visual, but yeah, there's no kills or anything like that. And one shark attack that's in the movie, yeah. Now the next thing I want to talk about is the CGI, not just for the sharks, but for the entire movie. This movie in terms of CGI is very up and down and is a total mixed bag. There are some parts that are pretty good for 2005, but then there are just as many parts, if not a little bit more parts, where I'm just like, this CGI is terrible. This is just like, this isn't even something you'd see in a PS2 game, but like a late PS1 game. Like, there are a number of scenes that look okay, and I'm like, okay, this is actually alright. Doesn't look totally awful. And then there are a couple scenes like the one on screen here, and I'm just like, oh gosh, this is bad. This is just really bad. Some of the CGI for the fight scenes also pretty bad, and a lot of the sound effects are just stock sound effects, which is funny to say the least. So yeah, the CGI is really mixed as a whole, as you can see. The next part of the movie to talk about is the acting. Now the acting in this movie is good and bad.
Are you kidding? You just saved me. I'm free.
I can finally die.
I really don't want to judge the child actors. I mean, they're children. They can only do so well, obviously. I mean, Sharkboy would actually go on to be the Twilight guys, so yeah, it was all downhill for him. And then Lavagirl and Max, there's really just nothing to comment on. I can, though, judge the actors of the adult age, such as David Arquette and George Lopez. Like, what the hell is this cast, honestly? But it's hilarious to see now. George Lopez is great. I've always loved George Lopez, and he has a number of funny lines in the movie, and his voice is actually a number of characters in this movie, which is even funnier. David Arquette is just kind of a bumbling around, like, he's just a jackass in this movie, I'm not gonna lie. The adult characters are just more funny than anything else. I mean, their acting was alright, but there's just nothing really to talk about.
I love you too.
It's better than the average kids movie, and I can confidently say I think it's better than most kids movies released nowadays.
Take a sandwich.
He's not making any friends with these cookies.
Whoa!
Damn.
Whoa!
And there's a number of funny parts to it as an adult, so that's always a plus. Overall, though, what do I even think of this movie? Well, I'm just gonna say that there are some huge nostalgia goggles on this one, and say that I still love the movie. I know that there are some parts of it that really aren't the best and have aged pretty poorly, but I still think that the movie is, at the very least, very funny to watch with the boys, or the girls, or even your non-binary friends. We include everyone on the shark scale, but my point is it's funny to watch with friends. Like, I just had an absolute blast watching this with my friends, more so than any other movie in a long time. Like, there are a bunch of scenes in this movie that are just absolutely hilarious for just like the wrong reasons. With everything said, I still did have a good time watching the movie, but I can admit it has some flaws as well, which is why it gets a very nostalgia heavy 3 out of 5 on the shark scale. Like, it's a good movie, I think, and it's still a fun kids movie. There's not much else to it besides that, but if you remember this movie from back in the day, you can tell me what you thought about it in the comments, because I loved watching the movie. It was great watching it again. It had probably been about 10 years since I had seen it again. So that was always fun. I had a total blast. I was having a great time watching the movie, just drunk and laughing with friends. And yeah, with all that said, I hope you guys have a great Christmas. Watch this one with your friends. See ya.
Lick the dog
he's eating it. The poo poo.
There was a 3D
He ate
moment.
the poo-poo.
He ate the poo poo.
He's eating it too!
You're gonna make that joke instead of maybe looking at your daughter and say, how the fuck did you just shoot ice from your hand?
Oh yeah, that's actually a really good point.
Was it snowing in Texas?
Why don't you just swim to the side and just get out?
Yeah, why didn't you just get out, like, right in front of him?
Nah, you Sharkboy, he's gotta swim.
The sound effects in this whole fucking movie have been disgusting. They're in the fucking land of cum.
Can't be good,
Oh,
What?
God, that...
What?
That was the last. That's like a bad Snapchat.
Yeah, that's what I was
filter.
thinking.
Tastes like shit.
What
Wow.
the fuck was that? Oh, pat his chest.
I have no word.
I was gonna say have a lump.
That was amazing!
That was an amazing.
Oh, is she a retard or something? Oh.
This kid is an it.
What the fuck? George Lopez is ripped!
No, dude, that does